Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're continuing our reading of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And we'll just read a little bit from... Oh, thank you. Hare Krishna. I needed that. I really did. Thank you. We're reading from something that the circumstances of which Prabhupada writing this is so compelling and heartwarming that it's hard to resist, because I did the research on this when I wrote the book called, what was it called? Our Family Business? And when I was researching it, and I read all the letters back and forth, Prabhupada trying to get to Japan, because, oh, hubby, you couldn't hear? Did you miss that last part? I was saying that this next piece, called Light of the Bhagavat, I find compelling and heartwarming. When I was writing the book, Our Family Business, I had researched it, the circumstances, and as part of my research, I read all the letters that Prabhupada wrote in order to get money released and permission for him to go to Japan, because he had been invited to go to Japan to a conference called the Cultivation of the Human Spirit. And Prabhupada saw it as a huge preaching opportunity. He was in Vṛndāvana by himself, and here he was being given a chance in a very big, well-known country, Japan. And I was impressed with how many letters he wrote and how beseeching they were to try to get the government of India to fund him to go there as an ambassador. And it didn't turn out. But Prabhupada, while he was writing all these letters, he diverted whatever else he was writing at the time into writing this book. Specifically, he wrote a whole book to present at the conference. And so I also remember that nobody knew about it till after Prabhupada left. I just happened to, when I used to come to India, I used to go through Hong Kong. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was there, and we had a sanguine relationship. And that's incidental, but the fact is, when I'd go through there, I saw that there was this huge assembly line in the apartment I was staying of these paintings. And he had hired a Chinese artist to illustrate them. And the manuscript was all over the place. They were piecing it together, getting it ready. And that's the first I had heard of it. And then it got published. And it's been a widely distributed book, concert tours and things like that. So obviously it's from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, descriptions of autumn. So it's got some rasika element to it. And then it's got Prabhupada's voice tuned to an audience, a modern audience. This is Prabhupada's bridge preaching before he even came to America. May I? Permission? It's a democracy. I'm just seeing if there's any insurrection happening. A violent insurrection. Bhavi, is it okay with you? We'll try to finish the whole thing tonight, because I heard you're leaving in the morning. The serene sky, okay, First, I'll read, there's the plate, and then that's got the verse, and then Prabhupada's commentary. The arrival of clouds, accompanied by thunder and flashes of lightning all over the sky, provides a picture of life-giving hope. Covered by deep bluish clouds, the sky appears artificially dressed. The thunder and lightning within the clouds are signs of hope for a new way of life. One other comment was, Prabhupada was aware of Japanese culture, Shintoism, Buddhism, and the whole aesthetic of Japan is very much in harmony with nature. Japan and Switzerland are known to be the two most picturesque and aesthetically pleasing countries in the world. It's as if they've landscaped the whole country. They've had a landscaper landscape the whole country. That's why people go there in the springtime, because the whole country is awash in cherry blossoms mostly, but also peach blossoms and other. But they specifically decorate the whole country in natural ways that are breathtaking. What to speak of the backdrop, it's mostly mountainous country, and it has a lot of variety in landscape. The serene sky, limitlessly expansive, is compared to the absolute truth. The living entities are truths manifested in relation with the modes of material nature. The deep bluish cloud covers only an insignificant portion of the limitless sky, and this fractional covering is compared to the quality of ignorance or forgetfulness of our real nature, of the real nature of the living being. A living entity is as pure as the limitless sky. He becomes covered by the cloud of forgetfulness, however, in his tendency for enjoying the material world. Because of this quality called tamas, ignorance, he considers himself different from the absolute whole and forgets his purity, which is like that of the clear sky. This forgetfulness gives rise to separatism in false ego. Thus, the forgetful living entities, individually and collectively, make sounds like thundering clouds. I am this, it is ours, or it is mine. This mood of false separatism is called the quality of rajas, and it gives rise to a creative force for separate lordship over the mode of hope that can lead one to the path of knowledge, and therefore it is compared to the mode of sattva, or goodness. The limitless sky, or the all-pervading absolute truth, Brahman, is non-different from the covered portion of the sky, but simultaneously the whole sky is different from the fractional portion that is liable to be covered by the dark cloud. The cloud, accompanied by thunder and lightning, cannot possibly cover the limitless sky. Therefore, the absolute truth, which is compared to the whole sky, is simultaneously one with the manifested living being and different from him. The living being is only a sample of the absolute truth and is prone to be covered by the circumstantial cloud of ignorance. There are two parties of philosophers, generally known as the monist and the dualist. The monist believes in the oneness of the absolute truth and the living entity, but the dualist believes in the separate identity of the living being and the absolute truth. Above these two classes of philosophers is the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva, or the truth of simultaneous oneness and difference. This philosophy was propounded by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his explanation of the Vedanta Sutras. The Vedanta is the medium of philosophical interpretations, and thus the Vedanta cannot be the absolute property of any particular class of philosopher. A sincere seeker of the absolute truth is called a Vedantist. Veda means knowledge. Any department of knowledge is called a part of the Vedic knowledge. And Vedanta means the ultimate conclusion of all branches of knowledge. As philosophy is called the science of all sciences, Vedanta is the ultimate philosophy of all philosophical speculations. Could you go ask him to turn it up? Wait till they get right close to us. Please go ahead.
I just wanted to make a public service announcement. I found the link to the gallery of all these paintings in order. So those of you who are, I put it in the Govardhana readings group chat. So if you'd like to click on it and follow it along.
Thank you very much.
I really like Oriental art, so I like looking along with it.
That's good to know. And very helpful. Any thoughts, comments since we just came out of the gate? Yes. 1, 2. Tie goes to the runner. Infield fly rule.
I like how Śrīla Prabhupāda says, well, first of all, it's just so clear. It's amazing how Prabhupada is giving like the Siddhanta in such a natural analogy. He's just going to do this for the whole book. I'm just so excited by this. Anyway, but specifically, I like how he says the Vedanta is the medium of philosophical interpretations, and thus the Vedanta cannot be the absolute property of any particular class of philosopher. I don't know, but it feels to me like that's Prabhupada pushing against the way that Vedanta has been. The dialogue in Vedanta has really been a monologue dominated by the Mayavadis for so long in the public sphere that they claim to have ownership of the Vedanta. Vedanta's got to be Advaita for as far as they're concerned, and Prabhupada's saying no. It's just it's the philosophical examination of our entire traditions worth of wisdom. And he also says that the followers of Lord Chaitanya are above monism and dualism because they're synthesizing that perfectly through Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva.
Nice points. Devavrata.
Well, I'm just saw this purport through the eyes of education, and when I was teaching Shishya Upanishad over the summer, one thing that was very helpful for coursework and preparation for myself, lesson plans, was that I was just going through each paragraph of the purport and capturing the philosophical point. And it's amazing how unambiguous and concise Śrīla Prabhupāda consolidates all of the principles of our philosophy. So I was just appreciating how in the first one it talks about the conditioning of the living entity, and then it speaks about the nature of transcendence, and then the different parties and how they approach transcendence, and then the synthesis of those two parties, and how that's about minimum 45 minutes to hour and a half of discussion.
Yeah. Nice. And that flash of lightning got me. How it's a flash comes the mode of goodness, and it's like, oh, I think I saw a different reality. Safamyat tad brahmadarshanam. Number 2, the scorching heat of the sun evaporates water from the seas, rivers, lakes, and reservoirs, and there is little water anywhere. The people become thirsty and always look overhead for rain. But in despair, yet just at the right moment, torrents of rain begin to fall everywhere in the land, even on the hard stones, and the land becomes overflooded. Prabhupada, the welfare state imposes upon its citizens scorching taxes in various forms: income tax, sales tax, land tax, terminal tax, excise tax, customs tax, and so many other taxes. But in due course, when the taxes accumulate into a large sum of money, they are utilized for the welfare of the citizens in various ways. Nonetheless, sometimes it happens that the benefits of the taxes fall like rains on stone-hearted men in the state who are unable to utilize the money properly and who squander it for sense gratification. The common man supposes the unequal distribution of rain to represent nature's wrath for our sinful acts. There is truth in this. thus to have an equal distribution of state-raised taxes. The citizens need to be scrupulously honest and virtuous. They should be honest in the payment of taxes to the state and should have honest representatives to look over the administration. In the modern setup of democratic states, the citizens can have no cause for grievances because the whole administration is conducted by the people themselves. If the people themselves are dishonest, the administrative machinery must be corrupt. Although a damned government of the people may be given a good or fancy name, if the people are not good, they cannot have a good government, regardless of which party governs the administration. Therefore, good character in the consciousness of the mass of people is the first principle necessary for a good government and equal distribution of wealth. In ancient days, the kings were taught lessons in political philosophy by ideal teachers, and the citizens from village to village were taught the principles of self-realization according to the Vedic codes for both the material and the spiritual upliftment of society. Therefore, the citizens were God-conscious and honest in their dealings, and the kings were responsible for the welfare of the state. The same basic principles are accepted in the democratic governments of the present day, for the irresponsible party of the people is always voted out of power and must yield to the responsible party for a better government. In the cosmic administration, there is only one party, which consists of the servants of God, and the responsible deities of the various planets maintain the cosmic laws in terms of the orders of the Supreme Lord. But the people suffer on account of their own folly. And what is that folly? In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that people should perform yagyas, or sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. Annad bhavanti bhutani parajanyad annasambhava. Yajnad bhavati parajanyo yajna karma samudbhavaha. All living bodies subsist on food grains which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yajna, sacrifice, and yajna is born of prescribed duties. Bhagavad Gita 3:14. The Supreme is all-pervading. Therefore, people must learn to perform yajnas to satisfy 4 different ages. And in the present... The Supreme is all-pervading. Therefore, people must learn to perform yajnas to satisfy 4 different ages. And in the present age of iron industry, the yajna that enlightens the mind of the masses for God consciousness is recommended. This process of yajna is called the Sankirtan Yajna, or mass congregation for invoking man's lost spiritual consciousness. Okay, I'll get back to it. As soon as this movement is taken up through spiritual singing, dancing, and feasting, the people will automatically become obedient and honest. This is an earlier copy, so it's got some updates to it. Do you want to say what this sentence is?
The Supreme Lord is all-pervading, therefore people must learn to perform yajnas to satisfy the all-pervading Supreme Truth. There are different yajnas prescribed for different ages, and in the present age of iron industry, the yajna that enlightens the mind of the masses for God consciousness is recommended, and the rest is...
Okay. Thank you. Obedience is the first law of discipline. The people have become disobedient to the laws of God, and therefore neither rain nor wealth is equally distributed. A man who is ultimately disobedient cannot have any good qualification. When disobedient leaders lead the disobedient people, the whole atmosphere of the administration becomes polluted and full of dangers, as when a blind man leads several other blind men. The state taxes, therefore, should be spent to build the character of the people in general. That will bring happiness to the citizens of the state. 3. Everyone okay? Attracted by electricity throughout the sky and driven by force. That's all right. Just tell me when you're ready. Okay? Bon, are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, attracted by electricity throughout the sky and driven by forceful winds, clouds gradually cover the surface of the earth to satisfy the needy people by supplying water, which is the substance of their life. The clouds bestow rains upon man as the mercy of the Lord, who is always kind to the needy living being. Prabhupada's purport. We should always know that God is always kind to us. Despite our gross disobedience to the laws of God's nature, the Lord is kind enough to look after our maintenance. Water is one of the most important items for our maintenance, because without water, we can neither produce food grains nor quench our thirst. Water is also required very liberally for many other purposes. Thus, the Lord has preserved water on 3/4 of the globe and has made it salty to preserve it. Salty water does not decompose, and that is the arrangement of providence. The Lord has engaged the powerful sun to evaporate the water of planets like Earth and distill it into clear water in the clouds, and then stock it on the peaks of mountains, as we stock water in overhead tanks for later distribution. Part of the stock of water is refrigerated into ice so that it will not flood the earth for no good purpose. The ice melts gradually throughout the year, flows down through the great rivers, and glides down to the sea again for preservation. Therefore, the laws of God's nature are neither blind nor accidental, as men with a poor fund of knowledge conclude. Behind the laws of nature is the living brain of God, and there is always a lawmaker behind, as there is always a lawmaker behind all the laws of the state. It does not matter whether or not we see the lawmaker behind the common laws. We must admit that there is a lawmaker. Matter can never work automatically without a living hand, and therefore we must admit the existence of God, the supreme living being, behind the laws of nature. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita that nature works under his superintendence. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetu nanena konteya jagadvi parivartate. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and non-moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Nature is only a power, and behind the power is a powerhouse and a brain. Just as behind electrical power there is an electrical powerhouse, where everything is conducted by the brain of the resident engineer. The material nature works so nicely and not blindly because of the superintendence of the supreme powerful God. In the Vedic hymns, Atharva Veda, the same thing is confirmed. It is only under the superintendence of God that all the natural laws are conducted. The Lord distributes his mercy in the form of rains on the scorched earth at times of dire necessity. He supplies rain when we are practically on the verge of death for want of water. God is merciful, undoubtedly, but he bestows his mercy on us when we need it most. This is so because we forget God as soon as we obtain this mercy. We should therefore remember the mercy of God constantly if we want to avoid distress. We are eternally related with him, despite the state of forgetfulness already described above. The Bhagavad Gita confirms that the laws of nature are stringent because they are conducted by 3 different modes. But one who surrenders unto the Lord overcomes the stringency of nature easily. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord affirms this. Daiviyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameveye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. This divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Any reflections? Yes, Mahendra Prabhu.
Just the Prabhupada sentence about Sankirtan Yajna. Mass agitation for invoking man's lost spiritual consciousness.
Wow.
Mass agitation.
Can you mark that? That become a, give it to Parameshwar. I just find this so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. And Prabhupada's brilliance, spiritual brilliance comes through in this so clearly. And this prescience also. Isn't it prescient? That whole section about taxes and government. And such a balanced view too. It's, okay, democracy does it like this. They're trying to achieve a similar ends. But when I heard the arrangement of the king and the citizens learning self-realization and the king learning how to maintain everybody, there was a sense of like a pang. I wish we could have that. I think a product of the age I was born in, there was such a sense of turning away from imperialism and how power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. Democracy is the only way, and so forth. The only one time I had an inkling of how nice a monarchy could be was once in Thailand, when I used to fly through there, as I mentioned, and there was a somewhat benevolent ruler at the time, a king. They really respect the king there, not just a figurehead. And the people were very peaceful. And my host there was telling me, this king, he's educated, he knows agriculture, he's trying to help feed the people and make sure everything goes well. And you could just sense in that kingdom there was a love for the king, and everyone just felt protected, like, I'll go do my work now. No agitation from power politics. It's just, it is what it is, and now my job is to do my job and not try to get involved like every citizen has one vote, and has to get mentally involved in the whole process and disturbed to no end. Okay. We end at 6 or 6:30? I'm gone for half a day and I forget what the program is. 4. After heavy rain showers, the fields and forests in all directions appear green and healthy. Thus they resemble a man who has undergone severe austerities for some material gain and has achieved his end. For such a man is strong, hardy, and good-looking. Purport. After heavy rain showers, the fields and forests in all directions appear green and healthy. Thus they resemble a man who has undergone severe austerities for some material gain and has achieved his end. For such a man is strong, hardy, and good-looking. The greenery of the rainy season is but a temporary show. It looks very pleasant, but we must remember that it will not last. Similarly, there are persons who undergo severe austerities for some material gain, but those who are sane avoid this. Severe austerities for temporary gain are simply a waste of time and energy. Material loss and gain are destined in accordance with the formation of each particular body. There are 8,400,000 species of life, and each type of body is destined to enjoy and suffer in accordance with its particular formation. The bodily enjoyments and sufferings of a wealthy man's son are different from those of a poor man's son. Although no one undergoes severe austerities to obtain distress it comes upon us uncalled. Similarly, the happiness we are destined to enjoy will come upon us even without our desires. Even though we may be able to avoid distress and artificially enjoy some material happiness by temporary achievements, this represents no factual gain in life. Our duty is to achieve permanent happiness. And eternal life. And it is for that purpose only, for the ultimate gain, that we should undertake all sorts of penances and austerities. This ultimate gain is possible to achieve in the human form of life. Permanent happiness is possible when one is free from material sources of happiness. Permanent happiness is possible when one is free from material sources of happiness. For continuation of material bondage means continuation of the threefold miseries. Human life is meant for ending these miseries. We should not try to be beautiful like seasonal flowers or greenery that flourish in the rainy season, but are weary in the winter. To be enlivened by the clouds of ignorance overhead, to enjoy the sight of temporary greenery is not at all desirable. One should try to live in the unlimited clear sky, overflooded with the rays of the sun and the moon. That is what we actually desire. A life of freedom in eternity, complete knowledge, and a blissful atmosphere is the heart's desire of an enlightened soul. May I read that sentence again? Yes. That is what we actually desire. A life of freedom in eternity, complete knowledge, and a blissful atmosphere is the heart's desire of an enlightened soul. We should undertake all sorts of penances and austerities to attain that permanent source of happiness. Bana?
I was just realizing how incredibly powerful this is, because, we're all attracted by nature. Prabhupada himself says that any intelligent man can sit in nature and realize God. And here, descriptions of nature, I was just observing my own mind, how it naturally we become relaxed, and we're hearing all of these, vivid descriptions of nature. And as Prabhupada injects the philosophy into that, it's so impactful.
Sorry, I heard what you said, but I wasn't giving you my full attention, and I apologize for that. I was trying to do two things at once. But what you said was that because people are enamored of nature and the way in which Prabhupada is integrating the lessons from the Bhāgavatam and explaining the lessons that are in this chapter is...
It's like it makes them more accessible.
It's accessible.
Yeah.
And that was Prabhupada's frame of mind, especially developing this for the Japanese or whoever was going to come to that conference. I don't know if you understood my sign language. I was just saying, if that's prasadam or boga, you're going to offer it somewhere else? Okay, thanks. Havi, any points? Anybody from the outside People's Party? Yes, Leelanath Prabhu.
It's very, very, very poetic. The whole book, as you are writing, as you're reading, made me think that one of the qualities of Śrīla Prabhupāda is that he's like a poet. So the comparison that he's making with, and I remember this because my grandson was telling me, you told me that the rain is made by God, but I learned today in the school that it was evaporation and then condensation, and then I had to explain the whole thing, and Prabhupada is presenting the same concept in a very poetic way and very logical, and talking about taxes and talking about the beauty of the nature and how refreshing is the also how the water is with salt, so to be permanent. It's so many little details. So to create the book is very brilliant, and this is the first time that I have the encounter with the book, and definitely I will get that book to read it from top to bottom and to learn it. Thank you so much.
It's amazing. Thank you, Leelanath Prabhu. Just on your last point about discovering the book and then wanting to read it, I was speaking about this, I think, for Prabhupada's Disappearance Day, about assimilation. And my realization of the assimilation process is that it's unlimited, because there's so much. I've always admired Hanumat Preshak Swami. He has this ability to focus his mind. For years he carried around a copy of the Upadeshamrita in Spanish. He kept it in a little bag around his neck. And he just studied it for 3-4 years. And then he got into Light of the Bhāgavata, and he just studied that. And you could just see one book you could put years into, and then there'd still be another book. After everyone thought, well, how are we going to read all these books? And then, wait a minute, Prabhupada wrote another one? He didn't even tell us. There's another one too that didn't get widely published. It was picked up by Nrsimha Maharaj. It found it in one of his trunks. Search for the ultimate aim of life. And I mean, that's another one. So it's really hard to assimilate everything. Yeah. Devrata.
BBT sells this book for $1.05. Anyone who's interested.
Hardback?
Softback, but it's available through the North American BBT for $1.05 a copy.
Okay.
Temple
We'll be
cost
taking
price.
orders afterwards. If you're within shipping range, you can order as you wish. Okay, I'm going to read one more. 5. The evening in the rainy season is dark all around. There is no sight of the twinkling stars on the horizon or the pleasing moon. They are covered by clouds, and the insignificant glowworms become prominent in the absence of the luminaries in the open sky. Prabhupada. As there are seasonal changes within a year, so there are changing ages in the duration of the manifest cosmic world. These changing ages are called yugas, or periods. As there are 3 modes of nature, there are also various ages dominated by these 3 modes. The period dominated by the mode of goodness is called Satya Yuga. The period of passion is called Treta Yuga. The period of mixed passion and ignorance is called Dwapara Yuga. And the period of darkness and ignorance, the last period, is called Kali Yuga, or the age of quarrel. The word Kali means quarrel. Kali Yuga is compared to the rainy season because many difficulties in life are experienced during this damp season. In Kali Yuga, there is a death of proper guidance. In Kali Yuga, there is a dearth of proper guidance. One may take guidance in the evening from the stars and the moon, but in the rainy season, the light of guidance comes from insignificant glowworms. The real light in life is the Vedic knowledge. The Bhagavad Gita affirms that the purpose of the Vedas is to know the all-powerful personality of Godhead. Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivishto mataksmitya jnana amapoanam cha vedaishcha sarvarham eva vedyo vedanta krid veda vedeva chaham. I'm seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. But in this age of quarrel, there are quarrels even over the point of the existence of Godhead. In the godless civilization of the age of quarrel, there are numberless societies, religious communities, and religious sects, most of them trying to banish God from religion. Glowworms want to be prominent in the absence of the sun and the stars, and these small groups following various religious conceptions are like glowworms trying to be prominent before the eyes of the ignorant mass of people. There are now a number of self-made incarnations people follow without authority from the Vedic literatures. There is regular competition between one incarnation's group and another's. The Vedic knowledge comes in a tradition from a spiritual master through the chain of disciplic succession, and the knowledge must be acquired through this chain without deviation. In the present age of quarrel, the chain has been broken here and there, and thus the Veda is now interpreted by unauthorized men who have no realization. The so-called followers of the Vedas deny the existence of God, as in the darkness of a cloudy evening, the glowworms deny the existence of the moon and stars. Saner people should not be waylaid by such unscrupulous men. The Bhagavad Gita is the summary of all Vedic knowledge because it is spoken by the same personality of Godhead who imparted the Vedic knowledge into the heart of Brahma, the first created being in the universe. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam was especially spoken for the guidance of the people of this age, which is darkened by the cloud of ignorance. I'd like to have our Dhamma Ashtakam just 15 minutes early. I went to Vṛndāvana last night, and it was so peaceful and quiet, very easy to get into town, and so easy to get back out again, that I'm just feeling serene. But it was all worth it because there was a great assembly of devotees, thousands of Gopal Krishna Maharaj's followers and disciples, and then grateful God brothers, God sisters were there in a huge hall, and we had an opportunity to offer appreciation, glorification of Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and then there was something at the Samadhi, but I couldn't get in there. It was way too crowded. And some of the people, well, in any case. So then there was also a Pushpabhishek both for Maharaj. There was a Abhishek from impressions of his lotus feet. That was done. And then a Pushpabhishek. And then Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj's disappearance day today, so they also had that in the temple room. And then there was some Radha Ballava Prabhu, who's one of our devotees at ISV, who was Radhanath Swami's cook for 20 years. He cooked for the Prabhupada disciples. And then we tried to sneak out of town. It wasn't so easy. Everything was blocked. Had to take rickshaw to a cab and then things like that. So tomorrow I have to perform a fire ceremony because every year we offer those who are eager to donate for sets of Bhagavatams a fire yajna in Kartik in Govardhana, and during which I read all their names. And I remembered also, just a little while ago, eager to tell Sudhira, but he's out somewhere. And that is, I was supposed to do a Go Puja also. That doesn't seem to be that difficult if I can talk to Sri Krishna Maharaj. So I'll be doing a fire ceremony in the morning Yeah, that's a big question, isn't it? Because whose turn is it tomorrow? Vaishnavis? Oh. How come Vaishnavis didn't give class? I see. Well, the usual time we do it is, well, we could do it at any time. Whatever time you want. We could do it at 7:30. I don't know. I can't do much because I don't know where Sudhira is. There he comes. Sudhira, what time is Raghunath getting here?
Can be started at 7:30.
He said we can start, he'll set up, and we can start at 7:30. Well, let's take a consensus. It's a democracy. So yeah, people aren't foolish. A 7:30 yajna. I mean, we can put out some chairs or those mats and stuff like that. I'm not getting any response, so I have no idea whether you're interested or not. Yes?
Yes.
You vote yes? You could come? I mean, even if you don't want to come, I'd appreciate if you at least come and populate the area so it looks like... Otherwise, the cameraman, we're going to have to Photoshop in some people later so everyone looks like it was a popular program. We can buy some stock of people sitting somewhere in a stadium. Yes? Yeah, I'll say a few words. It's mostly yajna. Yeah, the class. Work it into Bhagavatam class because Bhagavatam starts at 8, right?
Yeah, but I mean.
What was your suggestion? I couldn't understand.
I'm just saying.
You better use the mic because the devotees outside would like to hear too.
I think my sense is that should be the Bhagavatam class. That should be in place of the Bhagavatam class because I don't see sneaking in a yajna in half an hour. I mean, let's just have that be, take as much time as it needs to take.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just my sense.
All right.
Why not do that?
Yes?
So can I.
Okay.
We can all read Bhagavatam during the yajna.
All right. Well, one more thing for you. I also have to go around Govardhana Hill with the kavachams that I see are still being... Is that what you're doing out there? Are you putting kavachams still together? The factory? I have to take them around, and normally what I do is go around Govardhana Hill and stop in many of the holy places and shoot little videos all around that makes one longer video that shows that these kavachams have been taken around. Oftentimes the pujaris will put them on the deities or they'll put them on the lotus feet of the deity or you dip them in the kunds. And that's a go around the Govardhana kind of thing.
What time?
Yeah. That's another morning thing, yeah. Yeah, it's the 14th morning. It's the only day. Otherwise, the 15th is the last day of Kartik. It'll be mayhem. So, these things have been coming up for a while, but I only told a few people. I didn't tell everybody, so my deepest apologies for any inconveniences. If you'd like to come, very welcome. We usually just get a few rickshaws and do a, Mad Max thing around, and stop in various places and kind of have a sense of, each place and have a very, focused meditation on offering the kavachams at the different places. We have a little kirtan too. So that's something we have to set up too. Right, Sudhira? Is it possible?
If we get the number of count, then we'll arrange those many totals.
Okay. If we can do these two things, then I've done my duty. Yes.
No, just giving the count.
Okay. You can post it up?
Whoever wants to go, please say yes.
Okay.
It'll give us an accurate count.
Say yes if you're going to go. Yeah.
So I'm going to post on WhatsApp tonight. Please, if you want to come, mark it so Sudhir and I can start arranging the rickshaws together. We need participation because it
Okay.
makes it easier on us.
I'll see if I can get Marsh to come too.
Okay.
He may be busy, but one year I got him to come. Yes.
So, should we have a Bhagavatam class on Thursday or no?
Is that the 14th?
Yeah, the 14th.
We could have a Bhagavatam class while we're driving on rickshaws together. I don't think the schedule's going to be it has been, but we should make some concession for those who didn't get to give Bhagavatam class yet. Maybe you have a different time for it, or the person.
Maybe. Or Friday.
Or Friday, it's the 15th, right?
Yeah.
That could happen. Okay. So that's what's happening. So tomorrow, 7:30, we have the yajna, and I mean, we have to leave early for the going around, so it should be 2 separate days. And also, we have to do a Go Puja. So that means the Arctic paraphernalia, some extra, whatever cow they could, the most peaceful cow, like they do, you can see if that's possible to do something like that. Yeah, I think just after the yajna, then we can do an artik, and it's a time to worship the cow, but it's really a photo op, to be honest with you. Yes.
Could I suggest that we do the Go Puja?
Can you make sure? Yeah. Okay.
We do the Go Puja at 7, and then directly into the fire yajna, along with this Bhagavatam class, which Samya Prasad.
Is there light at 7 enough?
Yeah, that's the golden. That's the
Okay.
gold. It was 6:30
See if we
to
can
7.
do a Go Puja at 7.
Yeah.
And then he's suggesting then an 8 Bhagavatam class, and we'll wrap up by 8.
You mean tomorrow?
No. I thought that's what you were saying.
No,
okay.
that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yajnas take a little while. Plus, I got to read out 1,000 names.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be like Vishnu Sahasranam. The Bhakta Sahasranam.
That's all. I was just thinking go puja at 7 because that yajna will go on and then there'll be some time before breakfast.
Yeah. And reading will be at similar times. If you like, we can, for those who have parikrams to do this and that, we can also adjust the time for reading. It's slightly less intense because we wanted to finish the 3rd canto. I laid down the timing is very strict, but if you want to adjust the timing a little bit to give yourselves a more opportunity to do more stuff, I do have a few more meetings with devotees, and if I have a little extra time here and there, instead of the exact same schedule we have now, that way I don't have to cram them in between here and there. Readings on the 16th, Saturday. I think that 13 is tomorrow, 14th, 15th. And you're asking about the 16th? No, I'm going to go to Vṛndāvana. I'm going to go to Vṛndāvana I'll be there 16th, 17th, 18th, leaving on the 19th. So I'm going to decamp by 16th morning.
So I won't get a Bhagavatam class.
So I wouldn't schedule a Bhagavatam class for that day. Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
And also some news that Havi Prabhu and Leelanath Prabhu are leaving tomorrow at 6 a.m. I know. We're so grateful that you came. I talked to Leelanath Prabhu already, and Havi, thank you for making these arrangements to come. It really made a huge difference. Where are you going? Italy, he said. I don't know.
We're going to Delhi.
Delhi.
And we're going to meet Guru Prasad Swami, who...
You're going to meet Guru Prasad Swami in Delhi?
Yes.
Nice.
He is now the person in... Well, we have a long friendly relationship.
Nice. Well, have a wonderful journey, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the privilege of sitting every day in front of you and looking at a giant in action, spiritual giant in action.
Igualmente.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Avatuta Chandra is also going to be leaving.
What? We're going to put a ban on leaving. You're leaving tomorrow?
Taking a train to Mumbai.
Taking a train to Mumbai tomorrow.
You have to pick up some homegrown turmeric.
He's going to get turmeric in Mumbai on a train. Well, that's a worthy cause, no problem. All right, well, you can see things are winding, or they're shifting in a slightly different direction. We'll still have the readings, Light of the Bhagavata, because it's too sweet to stop. And we may adjust the time, so be on the lookout. And anything else?
Well, I was just going to give a timing suggestion, but I guess...
What's the timing suggestion?
Just afternoon readings.
Just have afternoon readings?
Yeah, because you have meetings, devotees may have things they need to do. So we just have...
Does that sound okay to everybody? We'll have the evening readings, and you can have the mornings open for meetings and whatever else you have to do. You want to write a book?
Can we do afternoon readings more then?
You want to do it longer?
Maybe if you're doing just one then.
3:30 to 6:30.
3:30 to 6:30? Okay, we'll try it one day, see how it goes.
Okay.
Okay? You're so greedy. May we sing the Dhammarashtakam? Yes. Okay.